is a bearded dragon, one of the most popular lizards in the world at the moment. For very good reason too. And today I will be teaching you how to take care of one in 6 easy steps. Let's get right into this. Step 1 is going to be price. So as you've seen in the past couple episodes that I've done, bearded dragons aren't exactly cheap anymore. They used to be, but not as much anymore. The price has gone up, and I'm here to tell you how much roughly you are looking at. So roughly at the moment, for just like a plain, like non-modified bearded dragon, you're looking anywhere from $100 to $170 for just the bearded dragon. And then for the enclosure, you're probably going to be looking at upwards of $275 to $300 for a good decent tank. And then there's also your food. You need food, which costs, I want to say around, not much, like $20 a month, every 2 weeks, every week, give or take, depending on how many of them you have. So before you get into this, you need to know if you can afford this, because if you can't, don't bother, because you can't be getting an animal and not being able to afford it. It's not fair to you, it's not fair for the animal. So always make sure you have enough money to get the stuff that you need, to replace bulbs, to get all this stuff that you need for your bearded dragon. Because it is one of the cheaper options of lizards to get, but just because it is the cheaper option doesn't mean it's still cheap. There's still expenses, and it's gonna be expensive. So let's get on to step 2. Step 2 will be enclosure. And as you can see here, you need a fairly decent size enclosure. You need at least a 4 foot long, a 2 feet wide, and of course a 2 foot tall. Because as you've seen earlier, our bearded dragons right here are roughly 2 feet in length. So they need to have enough space to move around freely, so they're not bumping into everything all the time. And as you can see here, this is a little bland. You know, there's not much in here, but most of the basics are in here. The only thing I would change is that if you put a branch or 2 in here so they can climb a little bit more, because they are semi-arboreal lizards, so they do like to climb up on things. So you gotta give them that option to climb a little bit, because also if you do that, it'll also shave down their nails a little bit, so you don't have to trim their nails as much. On to step 3. Step 3 is going to be diet. Diet is going to be one of the most important things you're going to need to know. So as an adult and as a baby, their diets are actually going to be very different. So as a baby, they're going to need more insect matter and less plant matter. As an adult, they're going to need more plant matter and less insect matter. So I'm going to show you a couple of the things that you can use to help with the variation in diet. So to start up, I'm going to show you some of these. These are some of the things I like to use when I'm going away for like a weekend or something, to just put in their tank to make sure that they have something to eat. This is a great way to get them their vegetables and their protein at the same time while you're away. But always, this is never going to compare to actual fresh fruit and vegetables. It'll never compare. So don't go for this for a staple in their diet. This is just a treat for when you're going away. Same with this. This is good, but only when you're going away for a long period of time, and you just want to make sure that they have enough food for when you're away. Alright, for the vegetables that I like to give my bearded dragons, I like to give them mustard greens, colored greens, the occasional kale, not too much. It's very like a once a week or once every 2 weeks kind of thing. Some bell peppers, some carrots. That's normally what I like to chop up for a nice salad for them. Every now and again, I also like to put in some fruits, because they do need like 5% fruit every week, give or take. So I like to give them some occasional watermelon, some blueberries, strawberries, kiwi, that kind of stuff. An occasional apple too. I like apples, those are good for them too. That's normally what I like to keep their fruits and veggies around. Now for the insect part of it, I like to go, of course, there's the roaches, like dubbed roaches. Those are ones I normally like to try. They're hard to get around here sometimes. I can rarely ever get roaches, so I normally kind of keep it around mealworms, some super worms, some crickets. That's normally what I keep it around. And of course, also you can give your bearded dragon some some supplements like calcium supplement and some vitamin supplement, but I'd be careful with it because if you give too much, it could lead to some bad things. Of course, you like some metabolic bone disease, and you don't want that. So let's get on to the next step. Step 4 is going to be lighting. Lighting is very important. You need to make sure you are giving the right amount of heat and the right amount of UV. So let's get right into the setup and how it should look. Alright, when you're setting up your lights, you need to make sure to have a heated side and a cool side to make sure that they can find that right temperature when they want it. So I like to keep my cold side around 75-ish. Of course, this is a guide, so if it's not exactly 75, if it's 70 or 77, it's okay. And I like to keep my hotter side to around 85 to 90. After you get the average air on either end to be around that, you want your specific heating spot right there around 105 to 110, 115 at most, I would say. I wouldn't want personally go up higher than 115. 105 is normally where I like to keep it. That is where my bearded dragon loves it the most. So that's normally where I keep it around. Alright, step 5 is going to be humidity. And humidity is very important for these animals, seeing as they are from a normally pretty dry climate. So you want to make sure to try and keep the humidity around 30 to 40%. But if the humidity jumps to like 50% at nighttime, that's okay. But as long as you have the proper humidity throughout the day. And if you're in a place where I'm located, like Canada, the humidity is a lot higher. So it's a little harder to have the proper humidity levels. So I would recommend having a dehumidifier or having the temperature in your room pretty high, have a lot of circulation to make sure you keep the humidity as low as possible. Now for UVB. UVB is just as important as heat. So as you can see right behind me, normally I use the compact bulbs, but the cylinder tubed ones are definitely better because they cover the whole tank properly. And without UVB, your bearded dragon will not be able to digest their nutrients properly. So like they won't be able to digest their calcium properly. So they will get metabolic bone disease. And I'm sure if you have bearded dragons or had bearded dragons in the past, you know what that is, and it is really, really bad. So, and if you don't, and if you're watching this for your first time bearded dragon getters, that's a terrible way to say that. But metabolic bone disease is when their bones slowly stiffen up and turn into a rock solid state, and they slowly die a very, very painful death. So we want to avoid metabolic bone disease as much as possible. But the reason, you'd be like, oh, then why are you using the compact bulbs? Because right behind me, you can see the fresh, actual sun comes in and hits both of my beardy tanks behind me. So that's why I normally keep it around the compact bulbs for them. But if you come right over here, you'll see that my Tegu down here has the cylinder one, because she is away from the window, so she doesn't get any natural UV. So always make sure, if there isn't any natural, make sure to get the long tubular bulbs. And step 6, the last of our steps, is going to be behavior. And some bearded dragons will be sluggish and slow and not as active, and then some will be, like Tyro down here, that is a very active guy. He likes to show that he's dominant all the time. He loves doing that. And if you're wondering, oh, what do you mean? How does he show he's dominant? Well, that'll be when he bobs his head vigorously at you and charges at you. He loves to try and show that he is the dominant one in this room. Very, very much. And then also you have your calm, cool, and doesn't do much, like my other bearded dragon right here. She kind of just sits there, overlooks everything, and just chills. So if you want to make sure you have an active one, make sure you look for the active one, because they're not all gonna be like that. But if you can also have a bearded dragon that's really active and a bearded dragon that just chills sometimes too. Depending on the temperature of your room when you have them out will depend on how active they are, because they are cold-blooded creatures. So if you want them to be super active running around, they're gonna need a lot of heat. But if they're gonna be cool and calm, obviously it needs to be a little cooler. But one more tidbit, I'm gonna say this: if you're trying to breed or do anything really, I wouldn't recommend holding your males and your females together, because the male will stress your female out to the point where she will die. And before that, she'll become infertile, so you will not get any eggs at all. So if you're trying to breed them, do not house them together. I cannot stress that enough. Do not house them together. But this will be the end of the video, guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for next time when I teach you guys how to take care of some other things. And if you guys want to know, if you guys want to pick what comes next, let me know. I've got a lot of animals. And if you guys want to see something for the Tegu or my Madagascar plated lizard, let me know down in the comments which one you guys want to see next. Hope you guys enjoyed, and have yourself a wonderful day.